You've read the books, you've done the mindset work, you've listened to all the podcasts, and yet you still feel stuck. You keep asking, why can't I figure this out? I've been doing all the things. And that quiet voice just whispers, maybe there's something wrong with you. But what if that's not it at all? What if the reason that you still feel disconnected isn't because you need to fix more? It's actually because you need to start trusting yourself. I am Rachael Britton. I'm a clinical psychologist and clarity and strategy coach, and I help entrepreneurs, therapists, and coaches create alignment between their purpose, their energy, and their goals so that success actually feel good. Because freedom, it's not just about more time in our schedule or finding those extra moments. It's about knowing your energy and that it's created for real impact for you, for your loved ones, and the people that you serve. And so today we are on part 2 of the Clarity Framework series, where we get to talk about our heart work, because last week we talked about rebuilding our foundation and being able to create stability in our nervous system so that it finally feels safe again. Last week, we also learned ways to help ground ourselves so that we can make more decisions that decrease that workload instead of overwhelming us. So today, we're switching gears and we're focusing more on that heart work, and we're focusing on how to create clarity so that we start feeling more in control of our life and more connected with what we're doing, what we're choosing in our day-to-day world. So for a long time, I actually thought that growth meant constantly fixing myself. I thought it meant new habit, new goals, new affirmation. I do love learning. I can't deny that, but I would get stuck in this loop. I would just be focusing on this and that and how can I build myself here and how can I grow here? But underneath it all, I was really just telling myself one thing over and over. I kept telling myself, you're still not enough. You need to do more. You need to learn more. You need to get to where you should be. And I see this all the time, especially in high achievers, healers, helpers. We're incredibly self-aware, but we forget self-trust. And we start to analyze everything, but we actually struggle to listen to what we already know, what our hearts and our values. And the truth is that clarity, it doesn't come from fixing things. It actually comes from honoring what's already true to us, what our values are, and then it's from honoring how we continue to learn and grow within those values. So when you live in this fixing mode, your brain is constantly scanning for what's wrong. It's in survival mode, essentially. And your mind is thinking, like, what can I solve? How can I fix this? This threat. I need to fix it. Versus really allowing your brain to just trust that what you're doing, you will figure it out over time. So again, our brain, it's in the survival mode, but what really happens is the opposite. We're not surviving. The more that we try to fix things, the more disconnected that we feel because we're reinforcing that belief that we can't trust ourselves and we can't trust our values. We can't trust what we know. We just have to constantly keep learning and growing. Or keep learning and doing different things. It can't just be what we feel solid in. And I just want you to know that trust isn't built through perfection. It's actually built through consistency with compassion. And so, or here's something that I teach my clients to help rebuild trust within ourselves, and I want to share it with you today. So it's called the heart alignment method. And within this heart alignment method, what we're really looking at is first, which is step 1, just pausing and pausing that loop to fix things. So in step 1, we're looking at what is our instinct? What's our first instinct? And when something feels off, our first instinct might be to analyze or improve it. So instead of getting into that fixing loop, we want to just stop and breathe. And we want to ask ourselves, what's really happening inside me right now? Like when I have this urge to fix, what's going on internally? Is there something emotionally coming up? Is there something physical coming up? Is there some energy that needs to be released? And we just need to pause because that pause, it's not procrastination. It's actually us being in the present moment and really aligning with our values and aligning with what we're needing right now. And it helps our nervous system actually calm down so that we can respond instead of react. A lot of times reacting is just based out of that survival mode. And instead, we want to be intentional with our response. So, an example of this might be like if you notice that you're irritated after a meeting, instead of rewriting your to do list, just take 60 seconds to name the emotion. Maybe you felt dismissed in that moment. And that awareness alone can shift the energy and it can help us realign to what we want to focus on next. Because feeling dismissed doesn't mean that I need to start studying all of these different things or learning more about me. It means that I'm feeling dismissed in the moment. And how can I take action within the next meeting or take action after the meeting? The second step is to reconnect your inner signals. So with this, your intuition, it doesn't shout. It's not like, "Shh." It actually whispers. It's more of, it more so speaks through the sensations in your body, right? So our intuition, we sense it, we feel it, and we start to notice. And what we want to do is we want to start noticing how our body is responding to certain information and see if it's saying yes or see if it's saying no. And that's kind of trusting our gut instinct. Yes, we want to be aware of uh, our thought process with it, but sometimes we have a gut instinct and then we doubt it, right? And then we start over analyzing it and we pick something else. I always think about this like when I used to take tests, I would have an answer and then I would be like, oh, is that right? And then I would start over analyzing it and I'd pick something else and I'd get the test back and it was the first one that I had my gut instinct on. And so when we're looking at our intuition, the yes, like when our intuition is grounded, oftentimes it feels like that. It's like, ugh, like this feels right. Like, feels grounded within the core of your body. Oftentimes your shoulders kind of drop and your breathing gets a little deeper. When your gut instinct is saying no, usually there's more tension in your chest, or maybe like your sinking stomach. And so just start being aware of your instincts and what it is sharing with you and trust those cues. Again, yes, every once in a while we need to check in with our cues, especially if we're constantly in this fight or flight response because they can misaligned at times. But we also need to understand that our internal intuition, our gut responses, is our internal compass. And so we want to play on that. We want to lean into that. So that's step 2, is just reconnecting with your inner signals. And then step 3 is to recommit to micro-aligned choices. So self-trust, it isn't a grand declaration. It's actually built in these tiny follow-throughs. Like, so each time you do what you say that you're going to do, like even if it's something really small, your brain starts to learn, I can count on me. So whether that is starting to trust your gut instinct, right? And each time you start to lean into that, your brain is starting to say, okay, maybe I can start trusting on my gut instinct. Or maybe it's that you start making these small adjustments in your day where you say, if I'm going to set up a 30-minute timer so that I can get some of this work done because I keep procrastinating it. Each time that you set that timer and actually follow through with it, your brain is starting to say, okay, I can count on me. So these are different ways that we can start trusting ourselves a little bit more. So again, step one is just pausing and fixing the loop of that self-doubt. Or, sorry, pausing the fixing loop. So when we have self-doubt, instead of trying to fix, we're just kind of connecting with our heart and seeing what's going on. Step two is reconnecting with our internal signals or our gut instinct and really starting to learn how to trust that system. And then the other part of the heart alignment is step three, which is recommitting to micro aligned choices. So when you make a choice, commit to it and follow through with it so that you, again, continue to build that self trust. So when you stop trying to fix yourself and start trusting yourself and making those commitments, something starts to shift. You stop chasing clarity and you start embodying it, because now you have the clear awareness of who you are and how you can trust yourself. And so you just more so lean into it and embody it. And you move through life with this quiet steadiness, even when things aren't perfect. So you learn that you can trust yourself even in imperfection. So if something happens, that's okay, because you can trust that you're going to move forward with it and move on to the next thing, and learn and grow from that as well. Again, it's not about fixing it, it's about learning and growing from it. So deep down, you can handle this, right? And it can be challenging. So I think that's important for us to remember, is that we can learn to trust ourselves again, and it takes steps and it can be hard. But that is what the heart layer is all about. It's about turning inward for guidance instead of searching for validation or hoping that others will start making the decision for you, because we become clearer when we can make our own choices. So if this message landed with you today, I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway. You can just drop it in the comments below, and make sure you share this video with someone who you feel might need to remember this as well. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you don't miss next week's video, where we're going to be diving into the mind layer, and we're going to talk about how to make confident decisions that align with both your head and your heart. So see you next week.